Now that we've gone through the basics of how to set up our machine, the next most important thing we need to talk about is sketching. Let's start Solidworks. I'm going to choose my part template and I'll say OK. Most of the solid models you're going to do in this class are going to start with a sketch. The way we create a sketch is first we have to identify which plane we want to draw on. In this case, I'm going to put my mouse over the front plane. I'm right-clicking, and I'm going to choose the sketch option. The view immediately rotates perpendicular to my line of sight. And then I can come up here to the sketch tools and I can start drawing lines or rectangles, draw circles, arcs, I can draw slots if I need to. So let's do a really simple example first. I'm going to draw just a simple rectangle. And I'm going to start in this corner and I'm going to drag it out to the other corner. You can see the lines of the rectangle have been formed. These green boxes are called relations. This relation says always keep the line vertical. These two say always keep the line horizontal. Now, because this course demands that we do things parametrically, we need to apply dimensions. I'm going to say OK, and I'm going to finish my rectangle command. And to apply the parameters, we're going to use the smart dimensions. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Now I'm going to define the length of the rectangle. Let's say I want it to be 3 inches long. I'll say 3.0 inches. And the length is immediately adjusted. Next, I'll do the vertical length. And let's say I want to make that 5.1 inches. Oops. And 5.1 inches appears. The standard for this course is also that we always do fully defined sketches. I know that this sketch is not fully defined because I can see it down here. It says underdefined. But I have the length and width of my rectangle, so what's wrong? The problem in this case is that I don't know where the rectangle is in space. So what I need to do to fully define it is say not only how big it is, but where it is. I would encourage you to always draw off the origin. So I'm going to say it's 0 inches above the origin. And I'm going to make it 0 inches to the right of the origin. Now you'll notice that the description at the bottom says fully defined. So there are no longer any degrees of freedom. This is a valid sketch and we can keep on going now. I'm going to say OK to close my dimension dialog. I'm holding down the mouse wheel and rotating the mouse. If I now want to turn this into a solid body, I can click on the Features tab. I'll go to Extruded, Boss, or Base. And you notice it grays in, it becomes partly solid. So at this point, I can grab the solid that's being formed and I can stretch it out with the arrow to create a length, or expand direction 1. I can actually type in the length that I would like. So let's say that I'd like it to be 6 inches long. I'll type in 6 inches and say OK. Now I have a rectangular block that's parametric and fully defined. I can spin it around in space. And you can see over in the part manager, I have a boss extrude, which created the length of the part. And underneath it is sketch 1 that defined the profile. Let's say I want to change it. If I want to change the extrusion length, I can just right click on boss or base. I'll come up to edit feature. And because it's parametric, my 6 inches comes back. And let's say instead I want to make it 4 inches. I'll type in 4 inches, press enter, say OK. Now my rectangular prism is 4 inches in depth. I can also change the profile. So if I come to the sketch, I can right click on it. I'll hit edit sketch. Here's all my parameters back. So if I want to make it only an inch tall, I can just click on the dimension, type 1.0, and when I exit the sketch up here, everything updates. I can go back into my sketch, right click, edit sketch. If I want to make it 4 inches wide, I can type 4 inches, and as soon as I exit the sketch, everything updates. So I've created my very first solid model, and let's say I like it. I want to keep this. How do we save it? I'm going to hit File, Save. Now here's something important. This is tripped up past classes. You want to make sure the Save As type is part. Okay? You have the option of all these other things. Make sure you are not overwriting your template. Make sure you do in fact say part. Decide where you want it. I'm going to put it on my desktop, and I'm going to call this my block, and save. And that's it. You've just created your first SolidWorks part. Thank you for watching.